Hello there, my name is Tom Marshall. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Today we're going to look at 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Let's get into it. Let's find out. So, the film 28 years later, Bone Temple, is a direct continuation from the first film 28 years later. So essentially we see Spike at the end of the first film, and he's been sort of greeted by this gang of people led by Jack O'Connell, who you see at the end of that first film. And here we just basically pick up right where they left off. They're in their sort of layer, and Spike is essentially being initiated into this gang called the Fingers. It is led by Jack O'Connell, and his character is called Jimmy. In fact, everyone in this group is called Jimmy. And so he is spouting all this rhetoric about the devil and the afterlife and heaven, hell, all that sort of stuff, as Jack O'Connell's character is actually the kid that you see at the very beginning of the first 28 years later film, as the infected invade the church, and he's the kid that sort of escapes. Little sort of throwaway moment that you pick up at the end of the film, and then you see that kid as an adult as Jack O'Connell's character. So here we are in the present day, and Spike is being initiated into this group called the Fingers, which everyone in it is called Jimmy. All right, so he's been surrounded by everybody, and he has to sort of be forced to fight this member of the group. It's sort of like a one in, one out system. So he basically kills him and becomes part of the group out of just pure survival. At this point, he has sort of now sort of become the observer, sort of like the fish out of water, kind of like the audience looking into this deplorable group that just goes around terrorizing everybody, and they are the most violent and sick individuals that you could possibly imagine in the world. Jimmy's one of these characters that you sort of love to hate. He is so despicable. He does some awful things to people in this film, and I guess he kind of had to throughout his whole life. In the outbreak started in 2001, and so life just completely stopped. So that's all he's ever known, essentially, since 2001 to 28 years later. He's survived and just tried to do what he can to survive. So he's built this group and this persona of the son of the devil, essentially, and he is spreading his word, and the group is there to facilitate that and his need to survive. So it's an interesting group. Like, they have long bleach blonde hair, they wear tracky bottoms, he wears jewelry all over his neck, cross and everything, and wears a tiara. It's a kind of a cross between the Queen of the Dragons out of Game of Thrones and NSYNC and those kinds of groups. It's ridiculous. It's such a strange sort of mix, because they just wear head to toe tracksuits, and it's from 2001. So that's the whole world stopped. So at that time you had Teletubbies and you had Tamagotchis and all that sort of stuff. So that's their only reference to like the world of the past, and so a lot of their references come from that time. So you just got these people just terrorizing everybody from place to place and migrate from one part of the country to the next, and poor old Spike is having to like observe everything that's going on in this group and just try to survive and try to get back to his family on the island, which he can only access when the tide goes in rather, so he can walk that path, if you remember. So there's that storyline going on. So there's also a second storyline with Ralph Fiennes' character, Dr. Ian. So he has basically been surviving after and helping Spike's character go free, and been trying to sort of work out how to cure the infection that's going on. He's sort of figured out that like it is something that is curable. It's not, they're not dead like the Walking Dead zombies. They're not dead like Dawn of the Dead zombies and all that sort of stuff. It's something that is a disease that's blocking something in the brain. And so essentially what Dr. Ian is doing is he sort of befriends one of the big alphas that you remember is the same one from that first film. And so he sort of develops like this relationship with this animal essentially, and uses his drugs and medical expertise to try and sort of unlock the mysteries of this virus. And it is hilarious because they just get like absolutely drugged up to the eyeballs, and he uses things like morphine and God knows what else, and essentially teaches and tries to experiment on this alpha. And so he teaches him to dance, he teaches him to sort of observe and try and teach him to speak and to try and sort of unblock that rage part of the virus so that he can become essentially, hopefully, the goal is to be human again. And so they sort of come together and they're just like drugged out to the eyeballs. And it's one of the better parts of this story, in my opinion. Ray Fiennes does a tremendous job as the doctor, the scientist, trying to sort of cure this infection. So when it all comes together towards the end of the film, you sort of fear for his life because you don't know what Jack O'Connell's character Jimmy's going to do when they eventually do come together, and you fear for him because he's such a likable guy, because it's a contradiction to Jimmy's character. He's deplorable, he's the worst of the worst, and you just know, oh no, something bad's going to happen. So yeah, there's towards the end of the film, their storylines converge, and after that, chaos ensues. So this film I found definitely to be a marked improvement on the first one. In fact, it enhances the first film as well. What it really does well is that it's sort of, not entirely sure how it's done it, but essentially it makes all the decisions that have been made in the first film make more sense. Don't know how, but it just all makes sense. Especially when you see the end of the film and you just be like, okay, I see where they're going with this. And all the acting across the board is really, really great. I think for me, Ray Fiennes is the character that you're really there for and rooting for. His acting is tremendous. He just knows when to go for it and also when to sort of pull back and be more subtle. I don't know what it is about the Shakespearean actors that come out of the Royal Shakespeare Company in England. Like, they're just really sort of well trained and have like a different sort of commanding presence that someone that hasn't like gone through that sort of training. Whereas Jack O'Connell's character is very unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do from one moment to the next, and it's sort of you as the audience have to sort of like figure out, oh, what's he going to do next? Like, it's very unpredictable. So it's really unsettling at times, because at one minute, like, he could be spewing out some demonic rhetoric, as it were, and then the next minute he can be like sort of quite funny at times, and it's really sort of eerie and unsettling when you watch him on screen. And there's a couple of torture scenes, and you just, oh, it makes your skin crawl when you watch it. Danny Boyle definitely has his stamp on this. Like, it's not him who's directed it, but he definitely, you can tell, especially when it comes to like the music. Like, I heard like REM in there. You've got Iron Maiden, and yeah, just countless other great songs in this. Like, this would be a soundtrack that I would want to buy in store or listen to on a regular basis. Like, it was really sort of well done with the musical choices, and some of the landscapes and vistas are like really incredible. They've done a really, really good job here. The actor who plays Samson, who is the alpha, is really great. He doesn't have like a whole lot of dialogue, so he kind of just has to sort of go along with the ride and sort of be there for uh, Ray Fiennes' character, and they got to sort of work together and do it really, really well. Their chemistry is really great, even though it's a zombie or the infected rather, and a human being. Like, it just really works great. And when you see it, you know what I mean. You'll be like, oh, yeah, there you go. I'll buy it. I'll buy that. So it's one of those films that is a really good, solid sequel. Also enhances that first film as well. So be interested to see which direction they go to next. So yeah, go check it out in the cinema. It is great. Ray Fiennes, standout. Yeah, he's just got such presence when you see him on screen. Like, I can listen to Ray Fiennes read the phone book. So yeah, it's really great because of those two storylines seem like they're completely random, but actually they make sense and just come together at the end there. So yeah, definitely go and check it out. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. The next video I'm going to be doing is of Brendan Fraser's new film called The Rental Family. So keep an eye out for that one. I shall see you in the next video.